of this background and remark, I want to quickly welcome our guest speaker before I call him to take the stage. Let's know who is this handsome young man by name Ayodotun Stephen Ibidunni. The profile is very encompassing, but I'll just have some bullet points here. Is that Dr. Ayodotun Stephen Ibidunni is a senior lecturer and head of department business administration at Chrisland University, Nigeria. He has research focus in strategic management, operations management, and entrepreneurship, particularly in developing countries. He has published more than 130 articles in journals, book chapters, and conferences. He's a recipient of many local and international awards. That won't fail me to list all of them. His works have been published in reputable outlets such as this AGEMS, African Journal of Economic and Management Studies, if I am aware of this, because I think I did the guest editor for that. And JAB is a Journal of African Business. These are all key one journals. And also Managerial and Decision Economies, as well as a Journal of Workplace Learning, among many others. Also, he's a editorial board member and a reviewer for many international journals and conferences. Furthermore, he's the pioneer director of the International Center for Policy Research and Industry Linkages, ISPRI for short, that focuses on bridging the gap between industry and academia. So he will take us through, because being a board member of a journal and also a reviewer, so we can now hear him talk to us on insiders' perspective on publishing in reputable outlets. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, please join me, clap your hands as welcome this noble son of Africa to take us through this research titled on publishing on global outlets. Yeah, I think your slide should be on now, Dr. Stephen Ibidunni. You have
Yes, I can see it, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prof. Good evening, sir. And
Good
evening, everyone. I want
evening,
to
sir.
believe that Prof will not bash me again. My voice is loud and clear this time.
Yeah, loud and clear, very loud and clear. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'm so happy to be with us. Permit me, I think I have Prof's consent to just mute my video so that the network is...
Yes, please go ahead. Yeah. Oh, I've seen your
Okay.
pictures. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Again, good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be with us. It's a very, very rare privilege, and I do not take it for granted at all to be honored being invited by Professor Evans Osabwin for this presentation. Professor Evans is a frontline mentor to me in my academic career, and I will tell you a few things when I get to the point of mentorship and collaboration, which is a quick part of this presentation about why I started to follow Professor Evans. It was a very deliberate decision for me, and I thank God because it has paid off very well. And so we'll talk a little about that. But let's go straight to point and let's hit the nail on the head on the insider's perspective to publishing in reputable journals. The presentation focus will be 5. First, I will identify what high impact journal, or you call it reputable journals, all right? We are good to go with whichever name we use, requires to get published. What exactly are they looking for? And then deciding on the best fit journal for your paper. Again, we'll talk about that. Number 3, we'll talk about preparing your paper for publishing in reputable outlets. And then number 4, understanding the review process. This is where a lot of persons, get very uneasy about. But then we need to learn some level of patience, and we need to also learn when to talk and when not to talk, what tone of language to use, and all of those things are very, very important at this stage. And then number 5, collaborating for publishing and even beyond publishing. Let's move to the next slide, please. Identifying what high impact journals required to get published. Okay, let's move. So why exactly are we emphasizing publishing in reputable journals? Because it's very simplistic to say, get your paper published. But why are we particular about reputable journals? Just a few reasons. Number one, you want to avoid predatory publishing. Later down the line of this presentation, I will do a little presentation about predatory publishing. You do not want to be there. All right. We just finished the conference and very happy that Professor Evans was there for one of our presentations. And he said that there are certain of his papers that he published earlier in his career that he has removed them from his CV. And it's the same story with some of us too, because there are certain papers that, to be candid with you, I cannot surface, because the truth is those papers were just maybe used as a starting point for you, but you've discovered that those journals are not things that you want anybody to identify you with anymore. All right, because they are predatory in nature. You didn't know us at that time, but the point is you just had to fly on it. There are certain mistakes that you don't want people to repeat. Predatory publishing, you don't want others to be there. Number two, you want to avoid wasted efforts. Sometimes you have very good papers and you just find out that they are
I'm
published.
sorry, sir. Can you share the screen? The
Hello?
screen is on. Please go ahead.
Okay.
If you have anything, please just write on the comments. Don't talk either on our YouTube channel or on the Meet on our WhatsApp group. We will respond to you, so you don't interrupt the guests. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bob. So, I sometimes we are reading certain papers and you find how interesting this paper can be, and the outlets where it is being published, and you are wondering, oh my God, this person could have done more with this paper. So you don't want wasted effort, really. All right. Then number three, you want to improve your chances of research visibility. Truth is, reputable outlets always stand a better chance of gaining citation. I'm not saying that it is not possible to publish in some lower level, let me use that language in quotes, please, lower level journals and not enjoy a whole lot of citation. It's very possible. But the truth is that there's a network around reputable publishing. And the more you fall into that network, the better for your career, the better for you, because you will enjoy higher levels of reputation, both for your career and for your publishing work, for your published works. Then number four, you want to make yourself known in the highly profiled research community. I've spoken a little about that. I have received a lot of calls as keynote speaker, as different level of speaker in different engagement. In fact, I received a call to come and be a part of the grant team just because somebody mentioned my name to another professor, and the professor went up to check me online and he said, this is the kind of person we want on this grant team. All right. So you want to bring yourself into that kind of level. People have just made calls because they said, we checked your profile online and we believe that you will be good enough to speak to this issue that we are in. So many times we do not apply. I'm an associate editor on an ABS journal, which is also on Scopus and is on Web of Science. And the way I became associate editor was that somebody mentioned my name. The editor-in-chief is a Brazilian journal, RAE, went online to check my profile and he said, look, we need to run an interview with you. And he confessed to me before we did the interview. It was an interview of let it not be as if we didn't run interview. That was the kind of interview we did, because there was a formal call for associate editors. I didn't even see the call. I just received the email from the guest editor and he said, look, I checked you online and I found out that you will be good. And we had a chat session for about 20 minutes. He said, please we need you on this journal. And that's how, it can do. So really, the way where you publish determines who is seeing you and who is calling you. Then again, lastly, you want to improve your chances of employability, global employability. Now, for example, you could receive. Let me just share this quick one with you. Somebody called me from South Africa to say, please, we want you to be, what's that word they use in South Africa? An extraordinary researcher.
Professor. Mm.
An extraordinary researcher for, our university. And, all of those things came in because the person simply said, we went online, we found you online. And then, so all these things work. You want to improve your chances of employability. Let's move to the next slide, please. So what makes an high impact or reputable journal? Well, journals are that are highly cited in the scholarly community, especially by other highly cited journals. I'll give you an example. They always have a click. Let me use that language. All right. They always have a click. It's always the case that when you are going to publish in a reputable journal, it is always better that you are citing papers from reputable journals, because the moment you submit your paper, one of the things that the editor or the associate editor looks at is, of course, they look at your title. Does it fall within the scope of whatever they are looking for as the journal? They look at the abstract. Sometimes they jump very quickly to look at your references. What kind of journals are you citing in your work? Because the references will tell them that. And then when they find that so many of your cited works are not in co-reputable journals, it's a very easy thing to reject your paper. That's the truth. All right. They just find some kind of excuse and they make you happy by saying, yeah, beautiful work. But sorry, at this time, we may not be able to move your paper further. All right. And we are wishing you the very best in the future. And then sometimes you are very happy to say, well, they didn't say anything bad. Of course, they try to make you happy so that, it's not. So the truth is, these things, all right, always come around because there's a reputation they are trying to protect. What you read determines what you write. Where you are reading determines your mentality. All right. And your mentality will influence your writing. So it is believed that once you are not reading from a reputable source, we really cannot spend so much time reading what you have written because we cannot guarantee that we'll find the very best in your works. All right. And that's something that's very important for you to know. All right. The journal citation report by Clarivate is probably about the earliest found computerization for computing journal citation reports. Well, I'm not going to bore you with all of these. We'll just move on. But that something to note about them is that citation thing I have mentioned to you. Then journals belong to a publishing family. All right. They are associated with one or two databases. And we've got a number of these databases that determines reputation or impact. Again, these things can vary from country to country, and at other times it can vary from region, all right, to region. And then again, at other times it can vary from discipline to discipline. All right, so we have the CABS, which is Association of Business Schools. You get to the UK, some US universities also use this. All right, so ABS, some European universities also adopt this. Then the ABDC, Australian Business Deans Council, that will be found in Australia. Sometimes in some Asian countries, they also adopt it, but Asian countries mostly adopt Scopus. All right, Asian countries, you find a lot of Scopus presence there. Then you have the Web of Science, that's the Thomson Reuters Web of Science, and EBSCO, Medline, and PubMed for those in the public medical sciences, medical lab sciences, and all of those. All right, you find PubMed, Medline, and all of those. So there's also Google Scholar and there's Scopus. All of these are different levels of indexation. A lot of us are probably very familiar with Google Scholar.
Go on. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, Steve, are you still there?
You're not getting
Yeah,
anything again.
is now you see on perhaps there's
Okay.
or you can hear me. Maybe his mic is those. But can you hear me from my own side?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you can see my screen. Can you want sharing the screen?
Hear you, Prof. I can hear you.
Okay, perhaps there's let me just call him on the phone. But his mic is still on. I wonder why he's not there.
Probably
Please
his
do, sir.
network.
Yeah, it's possible. He's training some parts. Uh, let me check him up. Stephen Ibidunni.
Hey, am I back now?
Yes.
Okay, back, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sorry. Go on, sir. Your mic is on. I wonder why you cannot hear us. There should be network on his end. This is the. Hello, Steve. Can you hear us? We can't hear you again. I think he's having issue with his network. Okay. Refresh. See, trying to reconnect. Let's be using the chat to write our comments, our questions, so that we can save time. But I think he's back now. His mic is on. Back.
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We had a very heavy rainfall here this evening, just few minutes to the start of the meeting. I guess it's affecting my router.
Yeah, but okay, I want to sorry. Well, rain is good, so thank God.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. We'll keep giving God praise for rain.
Thank you, sir. Sorry,
So,
sir. Yeah.
yes, sir. I'm saying number one, you have to be very deliberate about publishing. Okay? You have to be intentional about publishing for impact. If you are going to publish for impact, there's something I have to say, right? If you are thinking of a research topic and your research work, I usually say there's going to be a big problem. Having that skill too, all right? Because um, you really want to be clear about what exactly you are trying to say, what exactly you are trying to communicate, and you want to be clear about the kind of journal that you want to get your work published in. It's very, very simple to get it's very simple to write a paper in a day. And in fact, it's very simple to write 8 papers in a week. It's very simple, depending on where you want to publish. But I'm telling you that if you are going to publish for impact, you need some level of effort, mental energy, and all of this. And it's achievable. If anybody is achieving it, then you should believe that you can achieve it. That's very important. So it's a mindset, and it also demands believing in yourself that you can achieve it. Okay. And then you just put in that skill of intentionality. Look at examples of.
Yeah, I think it's network actually challenging. The boy still on. Go on, sir. Again, why is it coming back? Let's keep our question coming on the question comments, both on the YouTube comment or on the yes, on the OBMeet platform. Okay. Stephen, are you still there?
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Go on, sir. Yes. I don't know. Let's short for a go.
sorry. So, and
Yeah,
then
go.
number two, clearly define your research area and develop intellectual capacity there. You want to be clear about what exact areas you love to research on. And you want to start reading articles in that area of research so that you become you gain some level of mastery in that area. Very important for you in research. All right. When you find somebody who is writing HR today, tomorrow he jumps into operations, next tomorrow in entrepreneurship, and then the next time he's in organizational behavior, then he jumps into household economy, then he jumps into large scale farming. And then you are wondering, okay, so when you are going to be a professor in what exactly? All right. And you discover that that kind of person is just all over the place and has no mastery in a specific thing. All right. And that's really not good for your profile. Multidisciplinary is good, but you discover that even people that are in interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, also have a scope that really defines their focus, and they work with other persons within that scope to develop themselves. Number three, intentionally focus on employability, not employment opportunity. This is very important. This is a statement I got in 2019 and it changed my entire life forever. All right. Intentionally focus on employability. Make yourself a star instead of looking for the star on. That's very important for you. Employment opportunity means you are looking for a star job. Employability means that you become a star and then people will start calling you and referencing you and looking for you. That's very important. Number four, a mentorship and collaboration can never, ever be put away nor downplayed if you are going to publish for impact. It's very important. Remember that whatever you are trying to achieve, somebody has achieved it. So why not look for those people that have achieved it and are ready to listen to you? Some persons will turn down your emails. Mine, I send out loads and loads of emails every week, continuing to expand my collaboration and my mentorship days. Some persons will not answer you, some persons will turn you down, some persons will open up to you. I can guarantee you that very, very few persons, very minute few number will open up to you. All right. But then you just need to keep pushing. Number five, attend workshops and conferences that add value. Because really, not every workshop or conference, especially conferences, not every conference has. Some conferences are just out to make money. You know, somebody shared with me that he sent a paper with some of five of his project PhD students to a conference. I won't mention the name of the country, please. And there was no review. All they just got is 3 days to the conference. They got acceptance. Please pay.
Okay. Go on, sir. Yeah, go on, sir. I think your network is here. Hello, Stephen. Can you see us? You are now muted. Go on. Okay. Your mic is back. Go on, sir. Okay, can you hear me? I want to be sure where it's coming from. Whether it's own network or my network. But I think we are still live on YouTube, so that should be his network. Yeah.
We can hear you, Prof.
Yeah, I think it's not like you said, it's raining in his area very heavily. But why is he trying to come back? Let's keep the comment coming on the notes on Open Meet, or if you are in YouTube, put on the comment section on YouTube. My team members are watching out for them. Okay, Steve, please continue so we can go to Q&A after this session. Yeah, go on, sir.
Okay, sir. So let's go to like this.
Yes, can you talk louder? We can hear you, but it's a bit faint.
Okay, I'm saying let's move to the next slide, please.
Great, thank you, sir.
Slide, please. Yeah, thanks, sir.
Yeah, now, yeah.
Okay, I'm still waiting for the next slide to come.
Is there? We're now deciding on the best fit journal for your paper when? Slide 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
It means my network is from here. So
Yeah.
deciding on the best fit journal. So I shared some links earlier with you. You can look at those links, and those links can be a good guide in helping you to find resourceful materials from impact journals that will be helpful to you. I don't know if it's only me, but the slide I'm still seeing on my screen is basic nuggets.
That should be your own. We're deciding, but if you want me to go to basic nugget, yeah, we're now in slide. We're left Scopus, Web of Science, just to slide 9. We're now in slide 10, deciding best journal fit for your paper when you want to go for, yeah, that's slide 10.
Okay, so I'll just flow. Okay, so I'll just flow with you then. I think the network is on for my side. So let's continue. Deciding on best fits journal for your paper. You want to identify the right fit journal to get your papers published at either of 3 stages. Number 1, it's either you want to do that to start your research paper, all right? And if I do a lot of that anyway, because if you want to decide before you start your paper or at the start of your paper, that means you are saying this paper I am developing must be published in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 alternative journals. And you want to now go and download sample paper that will guide you into publishing in those outlets. And that's a lot of times truly can be very, very beneficial to you. All right. Or you want to decide during the period of its execution.
Yeah, I think your network is actually having. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now you're back again. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so maybe during such execution process, you want to put a good.
Okay. If you can, we just go to her header. Let's go to slide 11. If you can see my screen. But I think I don't know. You can refresh, but from what I'm seeing, your mic is on, and I think the network is. But again, sorry everyone. Let's keep our comments write our comments on the net on the chat box. I think, or maybe I should take my session now and then allow Steven to refresh and come back. That would be better for us. Steven, just try and refresh your browser and if possible, restart your router if that will help out a little bit. While you're in that, because now your mic is no longer on, so we can't hear you. I just So just restart your router, and then we come back from slide 11. While you are doing that, let me just give my short, so we can buy time and we can open up together. So let me just buy time with that. I've talked about it. I think that's okay with us, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you from Abeokuta. We can hear you.
Thank you so much. So we are sorry about the little hitch from Abeokuta. There's a heavy downpour at Abeokuta. I know rain is good for farmers, so can't complain about rain. So,
It's okay.
why he's trying to restart his router? Maybe that will help us out. So I'll just come in a little bit to take my own point and complement what is said so far. I don't want to repeat what he has said. So why is we're doing that? Please keep your comment coming and keep them coming as we go. But if you can see my screen, I'm taking my this slide 6 of my screen, part 2 outline. So each one is part 1, mine is part 2. Can you see my screen? Please confirm if what I'm seeing is what you are seeing.
Yes, sir.
I can see part 2 outline.
I can see part 2.
Introduction, starting with the principles.
Go on, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, great. Why should I even publish? I think Stephen said that. So I will just spend time on examples. Examples are one way to communicate principles. So basically, there is thing I learned from Codestra many years ago. In 2007, that happened to be my very first international conference in my academic career. It was a really fully funded, all expensive funded research funded by Codestra that happened in the little town called Mukono in Uganda. And that changed my life altogether. The reason said, why do you need to publish? Is the kind of we got the unique principles of publishing. Why publishing? But why don't you publish? Or what do you need to know when publishing? So these 5 points will help us. One is that you must have something to say. Okay, you must have something to say. So in other words, there's something in your mind that you want to communicate to the public. You want to communicate to the research community. You want to communicate to your world. And this is very important. This like this will for your passion. In other words, so even if you face rejection, you still want to be heard. That this thing I want to communicate is important and I must be heard. So that keeps you going. That's about the research title of your work. Okay, and then 2, one I said is have something to say. Number 2 is that okay, having something to say is not enough. You must tell us. You must say why you should say it. Tell us why is it important that what you want to say is worth saying. In other words, what is the relevance or justification or the gap you are bringing on board. The first one I say you have something to say. We talk about your title, and the 2 is that you must tell us why you should say what you want to say. In other words, why is what you are saying important? Why is your research important? Why do you want to communicate that to community, to the world? What about it? Then number 3, we'll see here. So having what to say is important. Saying what you must say is important. Then the most crucial one, number 3, is that you have to choose the best way to say it. Okay. Somebody's like if you're in a mass communication or English or languages, there are many ways you can say a thing. You don't have to shout. That what we call a verbal, non-verbal communication. In other words, if you have what to say, you have told us why you want to say it. Now, what is the best approach to say it? What's the language are you using to say it? Okay, in other words, that talks about what is the methodology, the materials, or the approach you want to use to approach your research. Okay, so each at the moment student asks me which method should I use. I said that should not be a starting point. Starting point that having what to say is important. Say what you say, why what to say is important, and then because of that, you now know which best approach. Am I going the way of qualitative research? Am I going the way of quantitative research? Even within the context of quantitative or qualitative, which of the methodology in there is important, and tell us why that is best fit for your work. Then number 4 points, you now say it. You have what to say. You have told us why you must say it. You are choosing how to say it. Now say it. In other words, discuss your work. Discuss the content. In most research I've seen, where one of the common mistakes people make is that they will spend time analysis, but will spend little time discussing the context of the analysis. Okay. In other words, having your results is one important, whether they're quantitative or quantitative. Now you need to discuss it. What is the relevance? What is the essence of it? Which what they call it, and so what, and so what. You have found that there's no significant difference. There's no significant impact on the first subsidy removal, for example, on the household income. Then what does that mean? And so what? So that is what discussing in the context of that work. And then after you have done that, just keep quiet. Conclude briskly, sharp. What is the most time I want to review as editor, also as a reviewer. So people, after they have done the whole work, at the level of a conclusion, they are still going back again to introduction to no. Just tell us 2-3 paragraphs are enough to conclude. What is the key message from that work? What would be what would be the key thing that somebody is taking away from that work? That is what you have to do. So in summary, these are the 5 principles or pillars in scholarly writing. 1, have what to say. 2, say why you should say it. 3, choose the best way to say it. And 4, say it. And then 5, keep quiet. Okay. So these are what will help us in terms of debonishing in your research. And then when you write, because again, when you write, like I said here, when you write, you are able to communicate to the unborn audience. There are people that will read your work even after now. But if you don't write it out, nobody will know that there was a time like this that this thing existed. So as much as we can, if you look at history, we are told that Africa was known as the black continent because most of our forefathers, they were in oral communication. They didn't document most of their knowledge. Okay, if they have done, it would have been far than this. So it's better important to ensure that we communicate. Okay, so that's why some of the guiding principles why we write or publish. Then other points that I think Stephen mentioned it just now on the issue of should you mind your discipline, whether you are coming from the angle of multidisciplinary research or cross-disciplinary research or interdisciplinary research, should you mind your discipline? Where it depends. Although there is an issue of multidisciplinary nature, interdisciplinary nature, transdisciplinary nature, or there is a college, but it's essential to say if they say Evans or Sabonian, what should come to the mind of most people who read your work. Okay. For example, there are some names you call, this is the area of research. Okay, those of already most of my work, you only see a line of thought between international research, international economics, as well as institutional economics. Whether I apply it to agricultural research or apply it to trade research, it's always a connecting rod, what I call IIE, international and institutional economics. So it's always very important to, as you grow over the years, let there be a link to your research process. And that will make it to be known. I think Stephen has said that a lot in his why you publish for impact. I did mention that it makes you becoming the pliabilities of looking for employment opportunity. I remember last year, November, I was invited by a school in Wageningen in the Netherlands. What was the reason? They saw my work on the area of food security and agriculture, and they're having a workshop and said, please, we know you are busy, but we'll be happy if you can join us in this workshop. And they funded everything, including the cost of my renewal of my passport. Everything was funded because they saw such a research I published on that, and they were following up on having a book on that research. So it's very important to ensure that you maintain your uniqueness as you write. Let's know that when you tell someone like Okafor Victoria, we know she's into financial development, financial inclusion. Okay, of course the issue of time matters a lot. This one that is Stephen has also said that you can take some time, but it's good to write one paper that becomes valuable than write 10 paper that may not be valuable later on. Okay, I just said okay, should you mind your discipline? I said that earlier. The whether you are going for the way of a quantitative, you are going the way of a qualitative, or you are going the way of a mixed method. Each discipline have their own approaches, but it's better to try to match all of them in one paper may be very difficult. So for example, there are some research like someone like Ofwa, which is very good in the quantitative research. Most of the research, whether you're using research on the household. He engages more of qualitative research, focus group discussion, interviews, and workshop like that. But some others like us focus more on quantitative. Each of them approach on the bio their own merit. So no one is much more important than the others. But what matters is that being able to explain why that your chosen approach is important in communicating your ideas is what matters. Now, okay, then this is very important again. Why should I even publish? I think I don't want to spend time here. Stephen has mentioned that earlier. For me, I see writing one, I can call it as a hobby. But this is what, if hobby is what you do, what you enjoy doing. So as a researcher, you have there is a word that Woloshuka said that writing is like a kind of melody in your soul. Again, it's a kind of internal melody in your soul that you want as you write. There's a kind of internal melody, what the economists would call it intrinsic unity. You enjoy as you do it. So if you take it that way, it will help you to contend with the issue of rejection, contend with the issue of time management in research, contend with the issue of continuity and persistence. And the two is that you can also take it as an assignment or call it, because as a researcher, for example, I think I've just been appointed as a member, as the Executive Council of Nigerian Economic Society, as one of the actual editors. We're having a meeting last week with the new ESCO. I always say that is how we need to, as an economist in the country, how we need to make our voice to be known, and much more than we have done this year. In other words, we are taking it as a call that, as an economist, it's our duty to communicate economic matters in the nation, and not leaving it for journalists who may have little or no economic principle to communicate, matching their principles with the reality. So when we publish, you have the opportunity to teach even unseen audience and even forthcoming generations. So of course, Stephen has taken the issue of contribution, promotion, recognition, and being part of a scientific community. Okay. And like I said earlier, please, if you have questions, please keep them coming on the chat so that we can take them along. And I just want to rush my own, and I go back to Stephen. I think by now his router should have been up. Okay, so this is from MRAD. Once served as the editor for the African Journal of Economics and Management Studies in 2020, and this is one of the things they put on as some of the reasons why publishing is important. Okay, for career development, it's required by most institutions, but in the academic balance said they call it publish or perish. But in my own, we have told that I was told to become a publish and prosper. Okay, I know it's not about publish or perish, but you can publish and prosper. You can be, like Simi just said earlier, you can be called to join the grant team. You can be called to serve as a keynote speaker, and you can be paid some foreign currency, either dollars or euros. Okay, for that. Then it's also helped to improve your research work, and then much more to gain approval for a specific matter that when an area officer is being called, agricultural economist, institutional economist, your name comes on because you are published in the area, and then have to contribute to knowledge in your area, much more to gain reputation recognition and enhance your network. And so what is I said clearly that that your network is a key function to influence your net worth. Okay, so there is a pyramid that started developing in 2020 in the heat of COVID-19 when I gave that a research. I call it a research academic impact pyramid. Please, if you forget anything today for today's lesson, please don't forget this one. Okay, it's right there online. This is the link. I also on my website. So as a researcher, where you are now is a good place to start. Whether you are publishing anything before, you are just starting research. In that case, you need to what I call engagement, what I call the knowledge consumption. You read more to consume knowledge, and as you consume knowledge, you need to enjoy what I call academic adaptability. You need to know which all this one I'm reading, which of the area appeals more to your soul, which area is very inviting to you. So you need to know where you want to belong. Okay, at that level. Then you move on to in the ladder of knowledge. You go to what I call the knowledge production. In this case, you want to be start writing, to start publishing, okay, and that will help to get what I call a research or academic visibility. As you publish, as you write, people begin to know you small in that area. You'll be to enjoy academic visibility by having a knowledge production, and then you move on to up the ladder to what I call knowledge moderation. okay, that can lead to what I call academic or research stability or integrity. But at this point, you begin to receive invitation to serve as reviewer. So I know we are busy, but most time when you receive invitation for most when you receive invitation for to be a reviewer, it means that somebody has started seeing your work. They want you to now contribute to moderation. That this work is in your area, please, if you don't mind, spend some time to review it. So you review, you are now beginning to moderate what people are writing. Okay, you're able to control what they're writing by by what I call it knowledge moderation. And if you can stay here for some time, gain strength. Now, I want to mention that the timing for each of those levels it depends on you. Okay, so you can be to enjoy knowledge moderation, and then you enjoy academic stability. So at this point, you are choosing your area you want to measure on, where you want to be known, and then you begin to now go to level I call the knowledge stimulation. At this level, you need to define what others write. You need to submit proposal for panel discussion, proposal for conference to host conferences, some proposal to host a special issue, to publish book or edit a book. So you're the one who is not defining what others should contribute. You're the one that is stimulating knowledge, and at that level, you begin to move to the level I call academic or research immortality. At that level, you are being known for that. When you call somebody in that area, your name keeps coming because you have enjoyed knowledge distribution and then giving you what I call a research or academic immortality, which is what all of us want to go. So again, I said the time spent on each of those levels depend on you. So whether you are coming first time or not, you can start from anywhere. Start from consumption, enjoy adaptability, move to production, enjoy visibility, move to moderation, just stability, and then move to finally knowledge stimulation, where you enjoy the academic or research immortality. Okay, now at least even I spent some time here on how do I choose my professional outlet. Most journal, most big time publishers like Sevilla, Emerald, Certain Springer, they have their own online journal too. So if you click this line, you just they tell you put your title and abstract. As you do that, it will automatically give you a range of journals in their system that work can fit in. So you can use that as a way to choose your outlet. Then second, I didn't even talking about you can decide either at the beginning of the research, at the middle, or at the end. Okay, personally, I normally wait towards the end of the research and even at the end, because at the end you should have gone through the research. You should have, when you check your references, that will give an idea to the outlet that you have referenced. And in most cases, if you check those references you have referenced, you can look at the journals you have cited and then look at what they want, whether your paper can fit in. Because if you have referenced journal from there, it's most likely that your work has close interface with the journal. And then when your work, when you send the journal to your, when you send the paper to the journal you have referenced, it's a sure way to tell the editor that you know their journal format. In fact, what I discovered my editor in chief for Nigerian Journal of Economic Issues. So this ingest, which is published by NES, Nigerian Economic Society, I told my editor that one, we should be to see a way that we encourage our authors to start our journals. One way we are to make us to be sure that they know the formatting style of our journal, because most papers that we are reviewing recently, the formatting is quite here and there. But when they have read our previous journals, our previous articles, you should be able to see how our journals are structured. So looking at your references is one way to know your outlet. Then two, you can ask your colleagues and mentors. I think that is why this platform provides, this African Scholars Mentorship Network provides. And thankfully, we have 7 sub teams, so you can, and each team has a leader, so you can be to ask your team members or team leaders which of the journals you want to work. They can also guide you through. And then you can also be to respond to calls for special issue, for little book, little book. And this one, I think we share a number of that on our platform. So look at that for that. It's already defined. So if your work can fit in, you just look at the core and fit in. Otherwise, you can also look at your institutional preferences, like some school look at the journals, scopus in journals, so you can save that in journal, or that Web of Science. I think Stephen has given us all of that ABS gel. Okay, so next one to look on was it. So where do I publish? Okay, whether the number here and there. But the point, I think I've said all of that, that look at the journal outlet, because like I say, it's not good to waste an effort because you're publishing in a journal. Just like Steve mentioned, I was in a conference just this week, Thursday, and I told them about there are a number of journals, articles are published that I cannot even put on my CV because I'm not so pleased with them. Okay, so what is getting published is okay, but she will get it published that when you see it tomorrow, you'll be happy with yourself. Okay, so I don't want to repeat what Stephen said. Now, this other question point I want to say: how do I deal with rejection? I think many people ask this question a lot. And somebody said, somebody was saying, I think it was when we did the series 1.0, Stephen, Dr. Professor Songu that we had our guest was saying that he has a threshold of 20 until his paper is rejected by 20 times. He does not give up. And I normally tell my colleague, I remember the case between, if you know the Bible a little bit, between the case between Jesus Christ and Peter. You see how many times will my brother offend me for me to publish 70 times? He says 70 times 7. So I not to the last threshold until the paper is, for me personally, until the paper is rejected 70 times, I do not give up. Well, remember what you said, you must have what to say. So accept what I want to say is no longer important. But if you say important, I will keep pushing. And then two, remember that no every every person who is an academic researcher or not, everyone has one time or the other had received rejection or the other. But note that rejections are just the opinion of the reviewers or editors. And you know what? They can be wrong. They are human beings. They are not angels. Okay? Somebody can misunderstood your context. I remember I sent a journal to a paper to journal, and those of who know long-term time series research, did difference. And the editor said, well, it was just that he was saying D, and when you difference, you put D. He was saying the variable, and in my model, there's no D there. I said, this is just a difference in. He said, sorry, he apologized at the end, but he has made his choice. So, rejections are the opinion of reviewers or editors. They can be wrong, so that should not discourage you. Okay, and don't give up. Each researcher has received more than dozen rejections. And in this case, I'm only mentioned to the case of Ekelov. Ekelov, he published a book, an article, I think it was titled The Market for Lemon. And he said it took him about 3 years to get acceptance. But one of the journals he sent it to, he said that the reviewer said that when did economics science become so trivial? So that was the comment. But you know what? After that work came out in 1917, and that work was what won a Nobel laureate in 2001. Okay, the paper that was said to be trivial, but he didn't give up because he wanted to communicate something. How about the issue of trust making, what they call a moral hazard or adverse selection. So you can ask your editor why, and at times you can ask for feedback. Okay, why the paper rejected? You can, and then you can also ask for rebuttal. At that time, it happened, but at times it doesn't happen. I think there was a recent case, a colleague of mine who's the contributing author of a journal, and after the paper was reviewed first and second time, so at the third round of review, it was rejected. I said, let's not give it. Let's write to the rebuttal, and he wrote to the rebuttal. It's okay. There was a misunderstanding. You should correct and resubmit. Okay. So even if all of that, you can try again and try again. Remember, everybody who's a researcher has received rejection one point or the other. So don't give up on that. Okay, so this one again, you can try again and try again. Read the reviewers' comments again and again. Look at what they said. If it's important, or you can the one you can change, you can change. The one you cannot change, that you think is not important, you can move ahead to upgrade the paper. Then get more citations, get more current paper articles of site, and then resubmit SUM. Okay, and then even after that, you repeat again and again until it gets out. Because I say you have something to say, and you know what you must say. So you keep saying it until it gets true. Okay, now this one is also important. Your introduction, I said earlier. I think let me pause for some time now. Why I come back to this one at the end of the I think I just take it now. And if you want to start when you are good, you will never start. So in other words, don't wait until you are good to start. You can start now. Okay. Why it is better to send your manuscript and it's rejected than leave it kept in your shelf or on your laptop. So let's send out get comment, get it rejected, and then try again. So you keep trying and keep moving. Some have a threshold of paper of 7 times. Some have more than 70 times. Okay. So thanks so much. I'll look at the comment now. Why I check on Stephen Ibidunni whether he's back to us. ST, are you back to us now? So you can finish your yeah. So I think we are here now for yeah, thank you. You're right.
My Glow network, hoping that Glow would be more stable.
Okay, now they're back. Thanks so much. Okay. So
thank you
fire
so
on.
much. I've been enjoying your presentation actually.
Okay, so let's try and tidy up. Maybe we can use the next 10 minutes, or we can use the rest 20 minutes for
Yes.
Q&A. Yeah.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to Q&A. So on deciding the best fit journal, I wouldn't touch many of the things here because you have really done well, sir, by touching a lot of those things. The title coverage, is it within the scope of the journal that you are looking for to submitting your paper into? That's very important. Every journal has a scope. So you want to get on the journal platform to check their scope of coverage. That helps a lot. Then is the journal index in the relevant databases that you may have at the back of your mind. For me, the first choice of databases wherever I submit my journal papers to is CABS. CABS is always number one for me. Number two will be ABDC. And then number three is Web of Science. And then Scopus comes at number 4. So I always appreciate when my journal or intended journal to publish in has all these 4 indexation listed, but then CABS is usually really number 1 for me. Then number 3, does the journal match the community that you want to be visible to? Again, you want to ask yourself. Check again within the journal, you see the communities that really read, from those journals, if they are the kind of people you want. Then number 4, what is the journal's publication frequency? Again, that helps you. Some journals publish twice a year, 4 times a year. Some publish on a rolling basis. As your paper is being accepted, it's already coming online first before it is issued with a volume and issuance number. All of those things matter. Then do you have the competence to comply with the review rigor and intense writing style? Different journals have different writing style. I must please call your attention to that. Different journals have different writing styles. And that's why it's always very important to look at a sample copy of the journal to see how they write, how they communicate. That's very important. And of course, they have different review timelines. I have submitted a paper right now since the beginning of the year, January, and we are in October. I've not gotten the result of the first review. I've had to write the reviewer twice, asking what exactly is happening. Yeah, I've received responses from the editor. Sorry, I've had to write the editor. I've received responses, but I'm just trying to communicate to you that different journals have different review timelines. Typically, once you submit your paper, after maybe 3 months, thereabouts, sometimes 2 months, you can start asking questions about what is happening. Okay, let's move to the next slide, please. Okay, yep, writing for our impact journal, there's always a standard format that papers should take. Your abstract, your introduction, your literature review. Under your literature review, you want to talk about the theoretical review and how you have developed the hypothesis. I see a lot of papers that lack hypothesis, and then the question will be, what exactly are you testing? And how did you jump to analysis? All of these things are important. Hypotheses have to be developed. Your methodology, how did you come about your sampling? Sometimes you will find the research setting and sampling. All right, so different journals, different styles. The research setting and data collection, again, you find that sometimes the measures, how did you develop your instrument when you are doing an empirical paper? How did you develop the items in that made up your research instruments? You need to define that, the independent variable, the dependent variable, and whether you have an intervening variable which will be moderating or mediating or both. You need to clearly establish that. Then your control variables, you need to also explain, all right, how you are defining the control variables. Then you move to your results, your discussion. We will want to see theoretical contribution and then the practical or policy contribution, or you call them implications. Sometimes you find that. Then the conclusion and further studies. Again, then lastly, you close with your references. You want to also identify what exact referencing style does the journal comply with. All right, that's again is very important. These days, a lot of journals are beginning to customize referencing, and even if it's APA, it can be APA within the journal. So you want to be clear about that. Let's move to the next slide, please. So writing in academic high impact journals, I'll just quickly delve into number 2. Familiarize yourself with the literature. That is extremely important. Extremely, extremely, extremely important. Read and read and read the literature on the subject matter. Okay, all those formats I highlighted earlier in the previous slide about different steps, the sections of a paper. The introduction is always extremely important. Your abstract and your introduction. If your introduction is weak, nobody is really interested in going further with your paper. All right, it may just tell us that the person really does not know what he or she is trying to write. So your introduction can take a lot of time. Usually when I'm writing my introduction, I can have different versions of the introduction until I come to the introduction that will make my submission. So I keep deleting and repeating, and so my introduction can start with 40 pages until I streamline those 40 pages into 1.5 or maximum of 2 pages. All right, so nobody is examining you. You are the one examining yourself. And all of these things are coming because you are familiar with the literature. What exactly is a theoretical argument that is backing up the communication you are trying to pass to your audience? So identify the main authors in your topic area. That's extremely important. What are those that are frontline authors? What are the frontline journals in this topic area? You may stand an easier chance of publishing your work in journals that are frontline on that topic because it shows they are interested in it, other than a journal that does not frequently publish on that topic. Sometimes it can be very, very difficult to pull through. So you may want to do a content analysis to help you, and this table that has been presented, all right, shows you a content analysis, the paper title, author name, objective, country, the theories that have been adopted, so that you will know what theory you want to use to guide your own work. What were the findings? What are the major contributions? When you get the findings and the major contribution, that can lead you to developing a gap for your own study. The area of reputable journals where you find suggestions for further study, again, can be a pointer to help you derive your own gap that will be explained in your introduction. So all of these things matter. Next slide, please. I'm just trying to move fast so that we get to the Q&A. That's going to help us more. Identify the variables of interest, understand the existing theoretical relationships and practical realities, both in the local economy and globally. Then check for disparities and similarities. Disparity, raise new inquiries, research questions. All right. So these are just trying to help you to come to a point of developing gaps. All right. Then you may want to develop a workable schematic model for your study, because your schematic model, or what you call conceptualization or a conceptual model, all right, helps the reviewers and the editor to simply understand the relationships you are trying to test by a simple diagram. And that simplification can help a lot, all right, to raise the possibilities of accepting your paper or moving it to the next stage. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, yeah, we can move on. I think I've mentioned all of this in the previous presentation. Understanding the review process, Prof has mentioned the issue of review. Rejection is nothing. Don't count it as a very big thing. And I really appreciate Prof's model, 70 times 7. So let the paper keep rejecting and you just make sure you are self-motivated. That's very, very key. Look, that is extremely key. Be self-motivated. Self-motivation is one of the things that pushed up. Time won't allow me to tell you certain stories and the power of self-motivation. Self-motivation was what pushed me into receiving the Chancellor's Award, myself and my friend Maxwell, in 2018. We just decided to sit down, take our destinies in our hand. When no senior colleague was helping us, our other colleagues were playing politics around us. And then we just took our destinies in our hand and we were the two that got the award, that year in the entire college. Now, this is extremely important. When you get rejected, Prof was sharing about 7 rejections in a week, but self-motivation was what kept him going. I didn't want to mention to Prof that just a day before we started the conference, I received 2 rejections at the same time, from very top journals. But self-motivation kept us going. Nobody really has time to tell you sorry, and you don't create the time for anybody to tell you sorry. Okay, it helps you a lot. But the review process can be limited by identifying that your paper falls within the scope of the journal, and then you have done a kind of paper that the journal is expecting to receive. At least you will not suffer a desk reject. It goes to review, and then you are hoping that the reviewers will not turn it down and all of those. But review is rejection is not in any way. You just keep pushing. Let's move on to the next slide. The review process is closely similar to any other well-reviewing journal. Yeah, authors will always be expected to address each review comment made by reviewers. Yeah, let me just highlight on this for 1 minute. Authors need to be extremely careful, please. Sometimes we see the case that reviewers are not paid most of the time. Reviewers are not paid. So if the person is taking his time and his effort to look at your paper, especially when the person is making comments that are germane and genuine to the development of your paper. Look, don't just throw the person's comment anywhere. Nobody paid the person, and probably the person had to squeeze out time to review your paper. The person probably had to come out of his bed just to give that sacrificial service. The onus lies on you to take your time to at least address that matter genuinely also, and report how that matter has been genuinely addressed. And if you think that this matter is something that no, it is wrong, you should also kindly and humbly, simply rebuke that matter by saying, look, well, I'm also an authority in this field, and look at this person, that theory, this author. And, it brings all of us to a level of understanding. Those are the kind of things that you should do when you're addressing reviewers. And I think Prof has mentioned a lot about that, and that's very important for us to know. So let's move to the next slide. Next slide, please. Talking about timelines, just deal with different papers and their different timelines. Again, you can read that in any journal's introduction. Avoid predatory journals, please and please and please. If you and me and the other person begins to consciously avoid some of these journals, you can tell you receive a lot of emails. I'm not going to mention the names of some journals, and I'm not even going to mention country or region, but where a lot of them come from. You receive emails bombarding you. Please, we need just one more paper. And please, can you? No. You see, all those things don't matter. How can you be sending your paper to a journal, and within 1 week, they are accepting your paper and telling you come and pay? Look, it is predatory. They are only after your money. Predatory journals are usually a lot after money. Sometimes when you get to the journals and you look at the editorial base, it's so scanty, or it's coming from only one country. All those things do not help academic publishing. So you want to really look away from them. Predatory journals are journals that publish papers without any serious check on the quality of the paper. They don't even do plagiarism, ethical approval, grammar and syntax, knowledge contribution. They are not bothered about all of those things. They just give you come and pay. No, you need to be careful. Don't count yourself as an excellent researcher. An excellent researcher is not defined as somebody that nobody makes comments on his paper. Actually, an excellent researcher is somebody that actually gives room for other people to make comments. That's who an excellent researcher is. You give room for other people to make comments on your paper, destroy the paper, it will only make you better. I did that during my PhD phase. Professor Evans was one of those that I invited specially to come for my PhD post field defense. There were 5 of them. I printed out my work and I went to give it to them. I said, the reason why I'm giving you is because I want you to come and scatter the work. Don't give it to me in secret. Come out openly. Because I needed to build something for myself. My colleagues were laughing. But today, the difference is clear. All right? Make yourself that kind of person. It makes you more serious with your work. They don't have any serious review of your papers. And they're always very emphatic about publication fees. Please don't publish there. You can see some of those predatory. In 2008, Jeffrey Bell was the first person, was about the person that began to blow out this thing really hard. Let's go to the next slide, please. And I'm sharing some links in the next slide with you. Next slide, please. Some links about how to capture some of these predatory journals. You can identify them. Look at their characteristics. Sorry, man. Also, broad scope of topic areas. They publish everything. It's not possible. How can a journal be publishing everything? There's no specialization. It's not possible. Fake names, non-significant researchers listed on the editorial board, disregard of review process, overemphasis on article publishing fee. Please, you can snap this slide to help you. Overemphasis on publishing fee. Fake indexation. They tell you about an impact factor that does not exist. They are quick to publish. Please avoid them. Take your time. Build yourself to be quality. Next slide, ma. So if you go see some of these links, you will find a lot of predatory journals listed in there. All right, and we need to avoid them. Let's move on. So how do you escape publishing in predatory journal? My best route is always patronize established publishers. All right, it helps you to escape easily. Patronize established publishers. Taylor and Francis, Wiley, Sage, Elsevier, Springer, Emerald, and a few others. Of course, MGPI. All right, they are good publishers and they help you. Like I mentioned earlier, some of these publishers themselves always sieve out journals that are already becoming predatory amongst them. So they delist them. So it helps you to be safe. Let's move on, please. So this is about the last slide, collaborating for publishing and other scholarly works. How did I get to meet Professor Evans, and how did before the whole, I got into Covenant University as a lecturer in 2013, but before that time, I had known Professor Evans and I'd just been watching him. We lived in the same block. I remember C block then. Amazing family, right? So when I got into the academia as a lecturer, one of the things we heard was follow these professors who are the ones that will help your life. Make sure you are following them. And I called my friend. I said, Marcel, look, I don't have a dream, to be sincere, of becoming a professor. Maybe because I know how much professors earn. So I was seeing my future. I said, Marcel, I want more than this. All right? I want more than this. I said, but if anything happens and God wants me to become a professor, by all means, I said, God, there's a kind of professor I want to be. I am very conscious about the kind of professor I want to be. I said, and these people that I'm looking at, with all due respect, I mean, I'm not mentioning anybody's name. I said, I don't like them. I don't want to be like them. Right? I said, I don't want to be like them. I said, but there's somebody I'm seeing on this campus. If this man is traveling out, he does not pay to travel. His family is traveling, they are not paying. I said, everybody is not on the same level. I said, so Max asked me, who is better? I said, it is Evans. I said, I want to be like, then he was not a professor, he was a doctor. But me too, I saw the future. I said, I like him, and his anointing looks like the anointing I want to carry. So, as though I knew what was happening or what was going to happen down the line, we finished PhD in 2017. I got close to Professor Evans. I was watching him. We were not in the same discipline. I'm in this admin, he's in economics. We could have been doing multidisciplinary research, but I wasn't in a haste to publish with him. I just wanted to keep sucking the words from him. I wanted to build stamina first before jumping into let's start publishing. No. I wasn't about that. All right. I wanted to listen and be built. So I kept following him step by step, stage by stage, opportunity to talk here and there. And then we finished PhD in 2017. By 2018, Professor Evans became he received double promotion from senior lecturership. He became a professor. I said, Maxwell, I told you that this man carries the anointing I am looking for. Can you see now? And interestingly, a lot of them were promoted at that time. And in our college, every other person was dropped except him. That means he was qualified as a double chief professor, for real. So on and on, that was where we now became more closer. And then he started the SEBDA, all right? I joined as an associate of SEBDA, and watching him closely, listening to him more closely, working together on the same team gave me a lot of stamina. The truth is, there are people that have gone ahead of you and you need to follow them closely. I mean, we've seen a lot of mentees that are just, so far, and they are always about taking advantage of you. Really, it will not help. It won't help. So you have 3 stages of your career life in this academic or research career. You are going to find yourself in the early stage. Some persons have gone beyond that. They are now at the middle stage. Some have gone beyond that. They are at the mature stage. Then you find 3 levels of relationship: the mentors, the peer, and the mentees. I am relating with you from my personal experience. At the early stage, I think that 60% to 70% of your collaboration should be with your mentors. Don't be too eager to be a lead author, because at this early stage, you are a GA, assistant lecturer, or a lecturer 2.
Yeah,
Really,
you
at that
are preaching like a preacher now. You can begin to tell yourself, can take 1 or 2 questions.
Okay,
I know the passion is there burning you. I can imagine what can come to this.
I'm just going to
like
wrap up very quickly.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right? Thank you, sir. So at that stage, you really do not want to be a lead author. Only about 40% or 5% of your collaboration should see you becoming a lead author. That helps you. You are focused on really listening and seeking more clarification. You don't really need mentees. I am always surprised. You see, every career researcher, I say that, the person I'm trying to build, what are you yourself need to be built up? What are you looking for up and down? All right. So you move to the middle stage, 25% collaboration. 25, because having a mentee can be a lot of distraction. So you don't need that at that stage. 25% collaboration, emphasis on grants and fellowship. Then with your peers, you are now beginning to see 60% collaboration, because now you are developing capacity. You're already an L1, an SL, it's helping you already. Then then of course you can start talking of mentees. In fact, mentees will start coming to you, because now you are supervising MSc and you are supervising PhD. All right, it will start helping you. Then at the mature stage, you think about 5% to 10% collaboration with mentors. So that tells you that there's no stage you should get to where you say you do not need mentors anymore. Every mentor needs a mentor, and that always helps everybody. Then, of course, your peers, you'd begin to see 7.5% to 45% collaboration. And then, of course, you are a lot now working with mentees because you need to start developing many more persons. And that's where you find people like our cherished man, Professor Evans, all right, working a lot. So I think this is the last slide. On that note, I want to say thank you. The last slide just says, I'm saying to you, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Please, let's clap our hands for this passionate scholar. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.